Hi, I'm Tanya Holland. I'm the chef and owner of Brown Sugar Kitchen in Oakland, California. Well, my culinary identity is very much associated with my heritage, African American cuisine. Some know it as soul food, some know it as Southern food. The identity was developed mainly because my parents are from the South. My mom's from Louisiana, my dad's from Virginia. Also, it's authentically a part of me, and it's what I started cooking when I ran my first restaurant. I have a lot of influences in my cooking style. It was influenced greatly by my parents and my grandmother, as well as cooks like Julia Child, because those were some of the first cooking shows I saw, first cookbooks that I read. Also worked with Bobby Flay, so working in that kitchen at Mesa really taught me a new layer of flavors. So I have a lot of influences. Well, my menus directly relate to my cultural heritage because, I have items on the menus that reflect the food that my mom made, being from Louisiana, her potato salad, her gumbo, fried chicken, biscuits, and so it's pretty clear. Innovation in cooking, I think, is something that is always ongoing. I'm always aware of, but the food that I'm cooking is not the most. It doesn't allow for a lot of innovation because it's comfort food. The nature of comfort food is people want what they want. Kind of the same time over and over. So what I do get to be creative around how I present it. My creative process is mostly stimulated by my environment. So, in being based in California, I feel fortunate that I have access to great ingredients. And so I might see an ingredient I've never worked with before and think, how can I take this ingredient and incorporate it into my cuisine? In order to instill passion in the culinary arts in my staff, I just try to expose them to as many different cuisines, even though we're focused on the cuisine that we prepare. I'll bring magazines and cookbooks in, we'll do special events, and I make sure that they're developing their palate constantly and tasting other cuisines. And that way they have a frame of reference as to what we do as opposed to what other people are doing. I'm lucky that I have a chance to relate directly to my customers because I'm in an open kitchen and they can talk to me. Plus, I came from front of the house. I was in the front of the house for 7 years before I went into the kitchen. So I really like interacting with my customers and understanding, what they like about the menu and what they want more of. The biggest piece of advice that I would give to students is to, just bring joy to your work and read as much as you can about different cuisines, learn different techniques. You're going to take over time something from everywhere, and that's what's going to make your style really unique. Instead of early on in your career, you don't want to focus as much on a particular cuisine. Just learn from everything that's out there. I think my style of cooking is probably going to stay, around the same. Like I said, I cook kind of a comfort food. I'm trying to get even more and more sustainable, more and more local, more and more organic. So that's where, I'm hoping that, pretty soon we'll be able to say like 100% of all that. I think the restaurant industry is also, there's a lot of people going in that direction, especially with sustainability. We really have to focus on that. Barbecue is such a complicated subject because people are just so passionate about the style of barbecue they like, and it's a verb and it's a noun. Really, it should be a noun, but people say like, I'm going to barbecue this weekend, but they're not really going to barbecue. They're going to grill. So, the way I'm cooking, again, is kind of barbecue based on what's available to me. I'm lucky to have sustainable meats. I also am taking things from different regions. So my brisket that I cook is in a Texas style, so it's a dry rub, smoked for a long time with the sauce on the side. And then I'll cook, baby back ribs that they actually have a Jamaican jerk profile. And that's, my personal choice of the way I want to cook it. It's a glaze, a pineapple glaze. So it's not a real saucy barbecue. But, some people want their ribs with the sauce dripping off of it. But I like kind of a a more, let the meat flavor come out instead of having the sauce be smothered onto the meat. And we also did a barbecue, a St. Louis cut, in a St. Louis style rib where we would put the sauce on, kind of mop it on. And that's just a different flavor profile. So I always say, like, make it your own when you're cooking barbecue. There really are no rules, but people are very passionate about it. I moved to the Bay Area 15 years ago, and I love it. It's the longest place I've lived anywhere other than I grew up. And the most inspiring thing about being here is we're so close to the source. It actually reminds me of when I cooked in France, and there's I stretch out and there's the grapevine and there's the orchard of the peaches, and we basically live where much of the produce that is distributed around the country comes from. So it actually tastes better because it's right here, and it's very inspiring as a chef because you really know the true flavors of the food, what it's supposed to be like, and yeah, we're spoiled here. The exciting thing about cooking for me this year is that I'm trying to get my food out to more people. So I'm looking to expand in other locations, and that's always been a goal of mine. There are certain chefs that they really want, they want to be in the kitchen behind the stove and being very innovative and just like really creating the next best dish that they're going to do. I've always wanted to cook for more people more often, so I'm looking forward to kind of distilling my concept into a replicable model, and that's a different way to be in this industry, but it's very exciting for me. The restaurant industry has changed significantly, primarily due to the food, the cooking shows on television. So now I feel like the average person has a lot more exposure, and they have access to the chefs that they didn't before because chefs were back in the back room and not seen. So as a chef and as a cook, you're constantly getting feedback on your art form, your work, your creativity. I also feel like there's a lot more diversity of gender and race in kitchens. And when I started, I was often the only person of color, the only woman, and there weren't a lot of opportunities to move up and even to get into certain kitchens because of that way. So I'm really happy that those changes have come. I also think that you do see a lot more trends of open kitchens, so the cooks get to be integrated with the front of the house and they have a sense of what's going on in the front of the house as well. And I think that's important, so you don't get the plates thrown and the swearing that happens as much.